Uh, on Tuesday, I taught a lesson in which my group of 14-year-olds and I read the first chapter of an adaptation of Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. And this is our debriefing about that.
Okay. I thought you did very well with this as well. Obviously, everything you do in the classroom is a learning experience, but in analyzing this book obviously requires a lot of analysis, and it's a very interesting book for them to do. So with that class, I think it's especially so. They have a lot of opinions, I think, that class. So I thought the way you did that, dividing the class into different groups and to attack, which is a pretty big subject, analyzing that book, or at least the first chapter. Yeah, so I like the way you did that. You get dividing out the analysis between the characters and the story and the themes and so on. I thought that worked very well. Did you feel it worked well in the?
I thought so overall. Maybe like some of the finer details could have been better refined. Like I'd say like the transition between things could have been better organized on my part. But in general, yeah, like the meat and potatoes of the lesson I thought went well.
Yeah, that's what I mean, really. Yeah. So the sequencing as well. Well, you're tackling a big topic, so that would taken up much of the time anyhow. I think analyzing the story or the chapter would taken up a lot of time. So there's not too many other activities you could do in that space of time. But yeah, it went well, I guess. Yeah, I think like you said, actually, perhaps it could have been a little clearer. The instructions could have been a little bit clearer, maybe. Not for the analysis, but for the other parts.
You mean the reading part of it?
Yes, and especially the reading stations part of it and everything.
They had done that before, so I had hoped they would be familiar with it.
Oh, right.
So they were. They should be. It's more of like me. Maybe I should have been a better enforcer in classroom management at that time. Perhaps.
Oh, okay. I hadn't realized they'd done it before. Okay. But that's a very good idea. I haven't seen people do that before. I like that reading stations idea. Did you find it worked well besides the timing?
Well, I've done that before, and yeah, it does work well.
Yeah.
It's like they're not likely to speak English with each other unless they're being like held at gunpoint practically.
Yeah.
So that's one of the few times they'll listen and speak English to each other. And another station I do sometimes is the fourth station will be draw a picture from the paragraph you just finished reading.
Okay. Yeah. As far as planning instructions, prior knowledge, and so on, they have done some of this before, and obviously you were getting them to work on that again as well with the topic as well. I think they might have some prior knowledge. This is obviously the France, but they do study Chinese history as well as Taiwanese.
Yeah, we talked about the lesson before that. We talked about the two cities, like a travel guide's sort of overview.
Yeah.
And we talked about like revolutions as a thing throughout history.
Yeah, and obviously they would have knowledge of Mao's revolution and so on. There's very similar circumstances, so that can all be brought out with them. As far as the evidence-based instruction, analyzing the way you did is exactly how it is basically proven to work, to have been done. So that went well, I thought. Is there anything you thought that didn't work?
I wanted us to discuss their findings, the things they wrote on the board, what they're working on in the class. We didn't really get time to do that. Some of them finished faster than the others. Like the ones that were in charge of just the plot comprehension questions, they breezed through those. And then the ones in charge of the character studies and like thematic stuff, that took a bit longer because it is more complex.
Of course,
yeah.
And how did they handle the thematic part? Because that's the hardest part.
Yeah, that's been like my project this year with them. We did Robinson Crusoe last year.
Okay.
And we like kind of touched on colonialism, imperialism, and they got the idea vaguely. So I guess they're finally realizing there's more to a story. Even though it's a bit less evident when you read a very simplified version of it, but they're kind of getting The idea that there's subtext here. There's more than the surface level.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting there.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting if you're discussing colonialism with them here, because it's one of the few countries that had a colonial rulers that they're kind of happy with. It's unusual. That never happened anywhere else. Yeah, and you had to adjust the lesson when they went much quicker, I guess, in the reading. But you have no problems adjusting.
No problems adjusting, although sometimes with those, you taught him for a bit, Chuck. A student like that is very, what's the best word to describe him? Maybe rambunctious.
Yeah, that'd work.
He's quite bright, but sometimes you run out of things to do. You always need a plan B, C, D, E, and F with somebody like that.
Yes, yeah. He likes to find things to do with himself with his hands, I think, too.
He would be good at labor,
Yeah, no, I thought the lesson went very well. Analyzing the story is a kind of a big project and would take up most of the lesson anyway. No, I thought it went very well for what you were trying to achieve. So.
Anything you would have done differently? Or?
Not in that lesson. In the future, just as to help with the analysis in the future, I was thinking, and I think I did this before with my class for A Tale of Two Cities, getting them to take the place of one of the characters and justify their actions to the class. But you couldn't have done that today. It takes too much time.
Sure.
Or in that lesson, but for something future one, it's an interesting one, trying to defend themselves. If they're the Marquis, he's pretty much indefensible, but I think you get them to understand the character and the story a bit better.
Right.
Something for the future, maybe.
Cool.
Other than that, it went well.
All right, cheers.
Okay.
All right, thank you.